issues of metering, you find that most of the time, Kenya Power or REREC actually installs electricity, but they end up delaying in installing meters, and we have been facing this issue. We need adequate and timely distribution of electricity and metering, Madam Speaker, as the way the President put it. There was issue of management of public debt, and I'm happy this House has created a committee on public debt management, and we will look at that. When I don't have an issue of borrowing money in this country, the issue is, are we borrowing money to do projects at the right price and implement the right project that will spur the economic growth? That is the issue I am having. Madam Speaker, we can speak so much, but allow me to comment on the issue of CDF. So many students, so many parents are eagerly anticipating President to issue an executive order ordering CDF to be distributed immediately to our constituencies, Madam Speaker. With those few remarks, I support. Thank you.
Thank you, Member for Mwingi West. Now we'll go to Member for Kilifi North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's Kilifi South and not Kilifi North.
Apologies.
Thank you. First of all, Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you for the position you hold. Indeed, for people like us who are following what you are doing, you really earned it, and your past experience actually is in tandem with the position you are holding. Congratulations, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to say thanks to my people from Kilifi South. It's one constituency which normally does not elect an MP twice since time in history. But they found value in electing me for the second time. I really appreciate them so much. Straight to the presidential speech, Madam Speaker. The speech was in all ways very exciting. The presidential speech was very good. It really touched most of the areas that we were interested in, more especially when he talked about the CDF. As we speak right now, Madam Speaker, all these calls which are coming, students are out of school because they have no money. For the President to see that, to have recognized that it plays a vital role in the community, we really appreciate that, and I hope this Parliament will move very fast to align it so that in the future, those who are supposed to benefit from it can benefit. The issue of managing the GDP is another thing that also was well received by the people. Madam Speaker, all said and done, in my opinion, the only observation that, to me, I think need go down well was the time that the President took to present his speech. The speech was so short. We were expecting so much from the President. Members of Parliament actually were ready to wait until 7 to hear all the basket that the President was carrying. But I was surprised why the President made it so short. And I know him very well. He's my friend. He's not the person who maybe in the evening would like to have something somewhere. And also Mama Rachel was seated there. I don't know why he was so much in a hurry. We wanted to have time with him. In fact, at some point, I was going to tell him, don't run away like Muria, the way he was being told. Muria, don't run. But I could see the President just walking out in a time when we seriously needed him. Why am I saying this, Madam Speaker? There are quite a number of serious issues that we expected to hear from him. One, the issue of land acquisition and squatterism in Kenya. The place where I come from, more especially look at around cost. 80% of the land is actually a reserve of government properties. And yet, there are so many people who do not have a place to stay. There is serious problem of absentee landlords, which to some extent, those who have access to the Ministry of Lands and headquarters have taken advantage of this opportunity, transferring these parcels of land into their names and selling them off in their interest, forgetting the plight of the people at cost that are undergoing. This is one thing that needs to be addressed. And it's not only at the cost, it's actually nationwide in Kenya. And we wanted to know if there are any structures that are being put in place. There are so many commissions, the Ndungu report, so many reports regarding land. Nothing has come to this floor to know what is contained in those reports. Yet, people are looking forward for the government to address this. This is one thing that I wanted to hear from the president. The other thing also I wanted to hear from the president, in the year 2020, we had a global forum here at KICC on matters regarding the blue economy, kwa Waswahili uchumi samawati. In that conference, we were told the biggest resource that Kenya is sitting on, the biggest wealth that actually Kenya can benefit from is from the blue economy. If you look at the ocean, you look at the waters, the lakes, the Victoria, the Baringo, we are being told there is immense resources down there. And we know there are some organizations that have been established to make sure that we are able to access the potentiality of these resources. But now, nobody knows what is going on. We were told thousands, millions of jobs are lying there for the youth. But up to now, we have not seen anything. We wanted to hear something from the president regarding that. The other thing that also I wanted to hear from the president, the issue of corruption. Corruption has eaten our country. To be honest, the poverty level that is being realized in each homestead is as a result of corruption. Last year, we had the president, the just retired president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, complaining that Kenya is losing close to 1 billion every day, 2 billion every day as a result of corruption. 2 billion, that translates to 60 billion in a year, in a month. In a year, it translates to 720 billion. This is not pocket change. This is money that can change the lives of our people, women, children, to a better level. But this issue was not discussed. It was not actually came into the fore, Madam Speaker. This is one thing that I equally wanted to hear. The other thing that I also wanted to hear, we have so many government parastatals which actually are non-performing. They eat on the economy of the country. We are spending so much resources on these parastatals. What is in stock so that whatever is being spent on these parastatals can translate into value of the people of Kenya? These are other things that I also wanted to hear. Unfortunately, it never came out. Madam Speaker, this Kenya, Madam Speaker, this Kenya has come a long way to see all these challenges. Indeed, what Honorable Elisha was saying here, there are some innovatives that need to be empowered. He talked about the issue of the nuclear energy and the nuclear board and the empowerment of the nuclear board. As we all know, everybody who contracts cancer today, Madam Speaker, has to rush to either India or some of the Arab world because they have perfected in the manufacturing of nuclear isotopes which treat cancer. Many of our folks in the villages are actually dying out of this problem or out of this disease. We have the Nuclear Energy Board with us here, but for over 10 years, it has not made any stride. Right now, they are putting up a plant somewhere in Kilifi North. Is there any measures that are being put in place to ensure that this organization makes a leap so that our people can actually be able to access this medicine for the sake of having hope of life? Madam Speaker, with those few remarks which I've made, I really appreciate for you giving this opportunity. And I know, as much you were on the other side as Neo and you people in Kenya Kwanza, the promise the President had made in this House when he was giving speech, that he is going to ensure that Kenya remains and works as one, we are yearning to see that. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Kilifi North, you said. Now we shall have member for Sigawet Soin constituency.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity so that I could also register my thanks to the President for the speech which he gave in this August House. First and foremost, Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the President and his deputy for being elected to lead this country, and also to congratulate you and the Speaker for being elected to preside over the affairs of this August House. Madam Speaker, may I also take this opportunity to thank the great people of Sigawet's own constituency for seeing it fit that I come back to Parliament. I represented them in the 11th Parliament. I got to stay out of Parliament for 5 years, and I think the thought that comes into my mind is that to consider is a good thing, and to reconsider is even a better thing. I want to thank them most sincerely from the 4 wards of Sigawet's own constituency, that is Kaplela Artet, Soliat, Sigawet, and Soin. I promise, Madam Speaker, that I'll serve them diligently as per the oath of office which I took. Madam Speaker, coming to the subject matter of our debate this today, I want to thank the President for his exposition of the process of transforming this country as per his agenda. My colleagues have alluded to the fact that the speech is short. To me, Madam Speaker, the 52 paragraphs were fittingly short. We will be able to get more details, of course, in the legislative proposals, in the policy interventions, in the regulations, so that we can be able to give the President the support he needs to be able to transform this country. Madam Speaker, my colleagues have spoken on quite a number of issues, and I would not like to go into them. But in brief, I want to thank the President for the decision that he has taken to reduce the debt in this country. The fact that the President says within 3 years we should be having surplus in this country is quite good, and I want to commend him for that. It is, of course, dangerous for a country to have the kind of spiraling debt which we've been witnessing in this country in the last few years. Madam Speaker, on the issue of savings, the many tourists that come into this country, they are ordinary people. They are not necessarily the rich people from the countries they come from. But the culture of savings in those countries has been improved to the extent that even the lower income people would be able to go for tourism in other parts of the world. We want to impress upon our people to make sure that for whatever they earn, there's a bit of which they will put aside for savings. Madam Speaker, there is the reform on the education sector in this country. CBC had very, very good strategic intent, but the burden that it has given to our pupils, the burden that it has given to our parents, Madam Speaker, requires that that system of education be reformed, without, of course, losing the strategic intent which made us change from the 844 system to the CBC system. Madam Speaker, the President talked about water for all, and I want to say it is a good thing that we need to have water. My constituency, much as people may think, Kericho is green and raining throughout. I come from the most marginal part of Kericho, and we need water so that at least our people can be able to do irrigation, our people can be able to have domestic water for domestic use. Madam Speaker, something that the President touched on is the NGCDF. Madam Speaker, this kitty has been very transformational. If you compare the kind of development that we see in our counties, the county governments get more money than us in CDF. But when you look around all our counties, you will see that there are more projects funded by CDF and less projects funded by the county governments, even though they have more money. I want to request my colleagues that when it comes to that day that we will discuss the NGCDF, let's all be available. And let's not shy from the fact that we, as representatives of the people, do perform important roles in development, even if it means constitutional amendment, entrenching the CDF in the constitution of this country, we should not shy away, and we need to do that. Madam Speaker, in the 2010 constitution, the people of this country created two houses, the Senate and the National Assembly. They did not opt for the House of Commons and the House of Lords as in the United Kingdom. They did not go for the House of Representatives and the Congress as in the United States of America. They opted for a Senate with distinct responsibilities and opted for the National Assembly with distinct responsibilities as per Article 94, 95, and 96 of the Constitution. We should not, Madam Speaker, as leaders entrusted with leadership in this country, engage ourselves in tough wars that do not help the people of our nation. If it comes to a situation where we need to support the Senate so that they can be able to perform their oversight role, it is my submission, Madam Speaker, that we will have to do that. The Senate and the National Assembly is a brotherhood created by the people of this country to be able to serve them better. There is no lower house, there is no upper house. It's just a brotherhood of two houses separated by a passage, and that is what the people of this country decided to go for. Madam Speaker, the issue of subsidies. In all economies in this world, the better intervention is to provide subsidies at the production level, not at the consumption level. And I want to thank the President for that bold decision. We cannot subsidize consumption, we need to subsidize production. And as we do that, Madam Speaker, it is not just the issue of cheap fertilizer. We need to go beyond that so that we can give our people better seeds, we can give our people drought-resistant seeds, we can give our people the kind of technology they require that will improve agricultural production and productivity in this country. But, Madam Speaker, we are still basically an agricultural country. And if we were to grow, if we were to industrialize, if we were to improve the economy of this country, the fact of the matter is that the base of that improvement is agriculture. And all interventions that we must do in agriculture, even including irrigation, we need to do as a country, Madam Speaker, so that we can have enough food and have enough food for export. Madam Speaker, we should also be bold enough to remove the cartels and the busybodies that have occupied the value chain in this country, such that the farmer who moils and toils on a daily basis in this country is one very disadvantaged person, while those in the value chain are rich, and the sweat from the farmer has got no benefit. Madam Speaker, we would wish that at the time when we're discussing all those interventions which have been proposed by the President, we should be able to give our ideas. Finally, Madam Speaker, as a student of communication, I was taught that people lose interest when you speak beyond 7 minutes. People start losing interest. And the speech by the President was a good 30 minutes. I want to say that speech was long enough to draw us to what we need to do as the legislature so that we can take this country forward. Madam Speaker, in agreement with what I've just said, I want to end my speech there and say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity so that also somebody else can be able to get the extra 2 minutes which I've donated to be able to speak on this important subject matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member. I just want to let honorable members know that I have been informed and I have noted the challenges that some of the members have had with their cards. Member for Kangema, member for Jomvu constituency, and member for Moiben constituency. I am informed that it shall be addressed, and therefore they shall get an opportunity in the afternoon. And also members, I think we've made very good progress, and I think we shall be able to make also similar progress in the afternoon. And I think for now, I would like to call the member for Soy constituency.
Madam Speaker, allow me to take this great opportunity first to thank the people of Soy for electing me to represent them as Member of Parliament for Soy. There were quite a number of issues that we discussed during the campaigns and also during the public participations, and I want to assure them that we are going to make sure that we are going to deliver. I know there are quite a number of challenges that are on the ground, but let them relax, and as soon as the government in place, we are going to make sure that we embark on those development projects that will change their lives. Secondly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, being our women representative, and also the Deputy Speaker for the National Assembly. I want to thank you on behalf of the people of Uasin Gishu to say that as leaders from Uasin Gishu, you have our maximum support, and we shall work together for the people of Uasin Gishu. I will also want to thank all Kenyans, and in particular the people of Soy, who participated fully in ensuring that the government of Kenya Kwanza is now in place, and we want to assure them the only thank you that we are going to deliver is to make sure that we do the developments that we have set forth through our manifesto. Before I embark on the presidential speech, I want to say that we have challenges as a country, and Kenyans will be looking after Parliament and after the National Assembly to make sure that some of the independent bodies, including the IEBC, is made to function properly. We put there men and women who can stand independently so that we can avoid the Cherera and the group. So we want to call upon this Parliament to make sure that as we embark on business, one of the institutions that is so important and dear to Kenyans is the IEBC. We need to put up commissioners who are independent, who are fair, and who are able to adjudicate on elections. On the presidential speech, I would like to really congratulate the President for having made the best speech ever. Although some of our colleagues are saying it was the shortest speech, it might be short in length, but in content, it had everything that we need to look at so that we can improve the life of Kenyans. One of it that was actually our campaign child is the issue of bottom-up. And I want to tell all the hustlers in this country, let them relax. We are going to make sure that the hustlers fund is in place. And Madam Speaker, when we shall be putting up the legislation and the policies to govern the hustlers fund, we need to make sure that the policies that we are going to put in place will be accessible to the Mama Mboga who is down there. We have had so many funds. We have had the WESO fund, we have had the youth fund, we have had the women fund, but this hustlers fund, if we are going to set it up, we set it up in a situation whereby it is accessible to those who didn't go to school, to those who went to school, and I am seeing the model that will work better is to anchor it through the CDF model so that we have officers from the ground, that is the village level, up to the national level so that we can make it a success. Another issue that I really support the President now that I come from Uasin Gishu, and you know Uasin Gishu, Madam Speaker, is an agricultural county. And we really want to thank the President for having put subsidy on the fertilizer. Now we have a subsidy on fertilizer going at 3,500. Our people are requesting that it can further come down to 2,000 or 2,500. It is very important that as a country, we tell ourselves the truth. We cannot subsidize consumption. We cannot subsidize ugali. We can only subsidize production, because at the end of the day, we need to live within our means. And the current national debt is so high that we have to tell Kenyans the truth. Let us tell Kenyans the truth that we cannot afford this manner of subsidies, especially the consumption subsidies. Let us subsidize our farmers. And I want to also take this opportunity. There is a lot of work to be done in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Honorable members, I want to thank you very much for your interest in the debate. A lot of you have put in great insights and great suggestions on this, and I want to appreciate each and every one of you. I also want to thank you from personally, because you have for your congratulatory messages inside and outside the House, and thank you for that. And also for the balance of time, the Honorable Member for Soy constituency was on his feet. Honorable David Kiplagat will have 6 minutes during the next sitting in the afternoon. Honorable members, and the time being 1 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Wednesday, 5th October, 2022 at 2:30 p.m.